Hi, I'm Jim Burns, and I'm the president of Homeward in Southern California, and I'll be answering questions from Google. So what is the empty nest syndrome? One of the most often asked questions when you get to the empty nest is, do I have this empty nest syndrome? It's not a psychological issue, it's a phenomenon. You've lost your kids from day-to-day parenting. And basically you've been fired as a day-to-day parent and your role has to change. And in doing that, a lot of times people experience this empty nest syndrome, which deals with grief and loss. And if they can't overcome that, they'll oftentimes just get stuck. Many times what will happen is the husband or the wife will do it in different ways. For me, I went into work and just worked more hours, and my wife was the sun and the kids were the planets revolving, and she lost her identity and she had to reinvent herself. Here's a question: how long can the empty nest syndrome last? Well, good news and bad news. It can go quickly or it can last a long time. It kind of depends on how people deal with their sense of loss. And if they reinvent themselves, if they kind of reboot the relationship with their adult children, if they reinvent the way they do life, then it's going to go better. I mean, I always say this: when your kids leave the house and they have fresh experiences, you follow their lead. So if you follow their lead with fresh experiences and you follow their lead by making some wise choices and having good friendships around you and staying healthy emotionally, physically, and spiritually, you do that, you're going to get through the empty nest fine, and you'll actually have a better life, and you'll actually have a better relationship with your adult children. How can a couple prepare for the empty nest? You know what? That's a great question. Most of us didn't do that. I remember the day that we dropped our daughter, our youngest daughter, Heidi, off at college, and all of a sudden got real quiet in the car as we're driving back, and I look over at Kathy, and she's not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. She's got a tear running down. You okay? She goes, well, I'm okay. I said, you want to stop and get something to eat? No. We came to a really empty house. Well, you know what? We hadn't prepared for it. So the more people prepare by saying, when the kids are gone, how do we want to live our life? There's going to be more time. There's going to be less structure in terms of the things we had to do with our kids. And so the people who do it best, they actually connect, plan, create some goals, and look forward to the empty nest because there's some great things. At the same time, they're still going to have to deal with some of the loss of losing their adult children from day-to-day parenting, but changing the role. Those are the ones who do it best. How can a couple fall in love again during the empty nest phase of life? Well, in the empty nest, a lot of times we put so much energy and focus on our children. Now they've left and we've buried some marriage issues under the mat. And maybe for a long time we've buried those issues. So it's time to rekindle the relationship. It's time to rekindle the romance. It's time to put energy into each other where you didn't have the time or maybe the energy because kids were in the home. Couples who do that do well. Couples who don't, they get stuck. In fact, age 50 is really the biggest demographic of divorce right now. And it's because people weren't willing to take that stuff from outside the mat and begin to work on it. So when couples work on it and they persevere, good things happen. If couples get stuck, it's not as good. Take the road to perseverance and build some marital grit. And you know what? You can reinvent your relationship and your marriage, and it can be better than ever. What can you do to help support and encourage a new empty nest couple? Well, you know what? They're going through a phase, and it's actually a rite of passage for them, just like when you had kids who teens were going through a rite of passage, or even younger kids were going through a rite of passage. So in this rite of passage, one of the things that empty nest couples say that they really appreciate is community. They want replenishing friendships. They want replenishing relationships. So you can be that person, and you can help them even in terms of just cheering them on, knowing that they're going through, especially if it's brand new, a pretty tough time. They're going through the loss of losing their adult children from the home, while at the same time, they're reinventing their relationship. So there's a lot going on, and they need people to come alongside them, support, and encourage them. Well, thanks for watching. And if you like this content and you want to see more, please like and subscribe below.